Jayden McDaniels.
Oh, yes.
Come on, Jason, you know it's my guy. I was waiting for you to jump in there. You know my guy. Rookie of the Year in 2024. And then last season, did that even happen? I'm not sure it happened. I don't know. Sprains and strains to his knee, hamstring, left elbow. It was just kind of a disaster season. The schedule got a lot tougher, too, but didn't go well. And so listen to what he had to say about where he was and where he hopes to be.
It left a bitter taste in my mouth from last year and just how everything played out. So you kind of just go in that off season and just figure out ways to mentally get better physically and emotionally and everything. So, I mean, it sucked. It wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was like what I wanted or it was fun for me because I love football and I love it, but the passion didn't change. I mean, it just made it more kind of like I guess a miserable feeling not be able to go out there and do what I got to do.
Now, Jason, you know they changed offensive coordinators, and he's installing a new system to have Jayden under center more and not always be running out there. I don't know. What do you think? Do you feel like that's a good move? It's going to lead to having less injury, better season for him?
Yeah, I feel like we've heard that about a bunch of quarterbacks lately, right? Yeah. Jalen Hurts, they want under center more because I guess you don't know what's coming.
You take everything out of the gun, like you are more vulnerable. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. So we'll see. What do you think of the new OC? I liked Kingsbury a lot.
Yeah. I mean, certainly had great pedigree, right? But yeah. Clearly, it wasn't working, right? Because, yes, the injuries, of course, were part of that, but there was just a lot of sort of dissonance between different parts of the offense last year. Yeah. So, I'll take it. If he's happy, he says he's happy, he says he likes it, head coach says he likes it.
I mean, how good are the skill position players for Washington?
I think everyone on the roster is fantastic.
I mean, I just don't know. After Terry McLaurin, I was looking at it. It's like Luke McCaffrey. Yeah. Look at the division.
They had a crop of older players who were just sort of at the end of their peak in 2024. And that and a low strength of schedule and some luck got them to the championship game. Didn't happen in any of those categories last year. And their QB, the best guy on the team, was hurt half the time. Yeah. We'll see this year. And part of the thing, and the guy was hurt all the time, half the time, is that this is designed not to have him hurt half the time.
Yeah. All right, we've got this. Let's talk about it. Everyone, you don't need to panic because she called him Jayden McDaniels. I heard it. We all heard it. It's fine. Everyone gets tongue-tied. Everyone mixes up names. This just happened in a video where Dan Orlovsky accidentally called a Panthers player by the wrong name, and everyone lost their minds. It's so easy to mess up names. There's Jalen Hurts, Jayden Daniels, Jayden McDaniels, there's Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniel. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. I made a whole video back in 24 where I called Dan Campbell Dan Quinn because I had just finished a Washington Commanders video and had been talking about Dan Campbell nonstop. People freaked out and said I didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, I just messed up a name. I just made a Dan Quinn video about the Commanders. It happens. It doesn't mean you don't know your stuff. Mixing up names is the easiest mistake to make. But regardless of that, this conversation felt a little messy to me for so many different reasons. Man, these last handful of videos I've been making, I keep saying I don't even know where to start because it's just been a mess. And I keep saying I love messy videos. But I don't know, this is starting to get messier and messier. So let's get to work. But before I do, please, Washington Commanders fans, don't forget to subscribe and watch the full video. When you do that, views go through roof, subscribers go through the roof. It's not about chasing either one. It's about being able to create Commanders content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss, so we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, honest conversations about this team. It really makes a huge difference, and I really appreciate it. But yes. Okay. Last season means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing at all. Everyone was injured. Everyone was in and out of the lineup. It was a mess. Now, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury was a big part of the problem. I understand people really want to use him as a scapegoat. I was a big fan of Cliff Kingsbury. That's why I was so high on the Commanders in 2024. I said, I'm so excited that Cliff gets to just be the offensive coordinator. I'm a big believer in Jayden. I said I thought the Commanders would be great and that Jayden Daniels would be competing at a high level in the NFL, MVP level. I was championing for Jayden to be a legitimate MVP candidate, and so on. And there you go, they got to the NFC Championship game and had an amazing year. And then the following year, it just didn't happen. Which is okay. That happens. It's funny because I was listening to Jayden in his interview. Honestly, there are a lot of players I don't really care about. Everyone has a podcast these days. Just because you played, just because you were famous, don't get me wrong, your opinion is interesting, and I'm interested in some of your stories and insights. But wow. LD, I'd jump to listen to you talk for 2 hours a day every single day? Probably not. I could listen to Jayden talk all the time. He has such honesty and groundedness that really resonates with me. He's the textbook type of player I would absolutely love to play with. He clearly has fun and can be lighthearted, but he's also focused and about putting in the work. He's honest. He's not overly manufactured or overly polished in a way that comes off as fake. I just love everything the man says. I really do. I couldn't be a bigger Jayden Daniels fan. Jayden McDaniels. So, it is what it is. But with all that said, it's pretty interesting. Jayden Mack is questioning, let me see if I can get a better pulse. Okay, now both his eyes are open. I know Jayden Mack is questioning the skill positions and what they have going on. I know Commanders fans are actually really excited about the team they've built. For me, my question is still about David Blau. That to me is still the biggest question mark. I know there's a lot of excitement about him, he's really intelligent, this and that. I get that and I appreciate it. I do think that when you have a quarterback like Jayden Daniels, the type of quarterback he is will always be somewhat difficult to coach because he has so many tools in the toolbox. In many ways, coaching a Stafford or a Brady, someone more traditional, it's a different approach. It's more than just being a mobile quarterback. To me, it goes deeper than that. Jayden is going to view the game differently than Matthew Stafford. So I do think that when you have these extra tools and can do certain things, you really need a coach who is a master of their craft, coaching, coordinating, play calling. That's not to say the Commanders' offensive coordinator can't or won't do that. It's just a question mark. Even someone like Kellen Moore, my respect and appreciation for him as a coach went through the roof during the Super Bowl. Even though they had a great season throughout, the game plan and what he was doing with Jalen Hurts, cutting the field in half, I loved it. It made me look at Kellen Moore and see someone confident in what they're doing. Going into that Super Bowl, I'd said this was the biggest game for Fangio, for Sirianni, for Kellen Moore. For Andy Reid and Spags, it was just another game, they've been there a million times. I didn't know how Kellen Moore would handle play calling in a Super Bowl. The guy's like 20 years old. It's insane. Andy's been there with different quarterbacks, different teams, different jerseys. Same with Spags. That's experience, and that matters. It doesn't mean experience automatically wins or inexperience automatically loses. But it takes time. Even Kellen Moore, the coordinator and play caller, is way better today than he was earlier in his career with the Cowboys and Chargers. So you have to be open to some potential growing pains. And also the relationship that Jayden Daniels will have with his coordinator compared to what he would have had with Cliff Kingsbury or someone with a deeper, more prominent resume. That's why it's a little tricky for me, honestly. I still go back and forth. Where I keep landing is optimistic. But when I go back to 2024, I was pounding the table. I made whole videos about what Cliff Kingsbury would do with the Commanders. I said, this is so great, so perfect, a perfect hire. I was so confident it would work. And it did work. Anyone who wants to question that is kind of crazy. Is he Andy Reid? Is he Sean McVay? No. But let's not act like those coaches are easy to find. I was a little disappointed to see them fire him. I'm always skeptical when you fire a coach when your quarterback isn't playing and your team is decimated by injuries. That's not really what we saw. It's actually what happened with Cliff Kingsbury before in Arizona. The whole team fell apart. I wasn't David Blau, wasn't his quarterback for a time? Isn't David Blau the one whose wife is an Olympic runner or something? I feel like they were on Hard Knocks in Arizona. I could be making that up. They fired Cliff Kingsbury, and none of it was his fault. The whole team fell apart. He had a fourth-string quarterback out there. What do you want him to do? And lo and behold, it wasn't Cliff's fault. Look what happened with Arizona. Nothing. Exactly nothing. The only success they've had in the last 5+ years was literally with Cliff Kingsbury. Again, this whole video isn't mean to say the Commanders made a mistake about Cliff. That's not what I'm saying. My point is that I'm very honest when I have confidence, and when I don't, if I genuinely don't know, I admit that too. I'm not the type who needs a fully fleshed out take. I always say, if you're watching these videos because you think I'm going to be the one with all the truth, all the answers, all the predictions, I don't. When I'm really passionate and really believe in something, I'll share it. If I don't, I don't. That's where I'm at offensively, at least from a coaching perspective with the Commanders. I can't believe in Jayden Daniels any more than I already do. I believe in him through the roof, and I'm just waiting for him to remind everyone who he is. But to me, it's less about the skill position players J-Mac was talking about and more about who David Blau is as a coordinator and play caller. And can he navigate working with Jayden? Because working with Jayden Daniels is a different beast. Working with Josh Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, that's a different beast entirely than working with Stafford or Burrow. It just is. That's why Mahomes having Andy Reid will always be the greatest gift he's ever received. It's why Brian Daboll deserves tons of credit for Josh Allen. It's not easy. When you have a quarterback who can literally do anything at any moment, you have to figure out how to manage that. How do you game plan around it? When do you go to that well? When a quarterback does something he got away with and was successful at, but it wasn't exactly what you wanted him to do, when do you point out, you got away with it this time, but I don't want you doing that moving forward? That's a big part of coaching. Plenty of times someone will do something and you win, the game-winning touchdown pass, and it's amazing, but it was the wrong play. You shouldn't have done that. This other play was better. Those are real conversations. When you're a spectacular talent, you have to know how to balance that. Steve Kerr talked about this beautifully years ago with Steph Curry. He said there are just some plays you have to live with. Steph is going to take some bad shots and be a little loose with the ball because when you're as skilled and gifted as he is, you're going to get your hand caught in the cookie jar. You have to figure out when to say, buddy, stop doing that, and when to say, okay, this is just what it is. Sometimes you mess up, sometimes you nail it. That's the type of pressure Jayden Daniels will put on a coach just by virtue of what he can do. Coaching Lamar Jackson, are you kidding me? That's brutally difficult compared to coaching Kirk Cousins. It's a different beast entirely. So yes, anytime you have a young coach who's never even been a coordinator, let alone a play caller, he was just an assistant quarterbacks coach with a very short NFL career, that raises concerns. That doesn't mean he won't be great, or that the Commanders didn't do their due diligence and weren't blown away by him. I've heard positive things. I'm just leaving the door open. I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to get ahead of it. I'm not going to say, I don't think this will work, so if it doesn't, I can say I told you so. And I'm not going to automatically say, this will be great, so I can later say I told you it would work out. I'm just going to say I don't know right now, and we'll see. The only thing I can plant my flag on is that I have concerns. I don't have the confidence. So unless there are other reasons why you think I should be confident or not, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read every single comment. Whether you agree or disagree, let's get into discussions, get into fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd love to see you part of it. I want to build something we all feel connected to, something we're excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.